Champions don't become champions by mistake. Through intention and hard work, they create their success. But sometimes champions hit a wall, encounter what seems to be an impossible obstacle. And sometimes a champion finds that what he thought would be his singular lasting legacy was only the beginning, only a part of a bigger plan, only a fantastical preamble. Such is the story of Norman Eugene Stewart. Our champion's story begins in Shelbyville, Missouri. He grew up planting corn, baling hay, swimming, shooting pool, and sneaking out to shoot hoops with his friends late into the night. Thanks to an influential coach named C.J. Kessler, a darn good basketball player was molded and would be offered a scholarship to play at the University of Missouri. The next chapter is pretty well known. Our young champ becomes a college star, the big man on campus, and meets and falls in love with the homecoming queen. Virginia Zimmerly would become our young champ's wife and mother to their 3 children. A champion in her own right, Virginia has been and still is Norm Stewart's light and joy. Nothing he would accomplish from 1955 forward would be achieved alone. They are and have been for 60 years the epitome of team. Our champ would go on to become a team captain and an All-American in basketball, scoring an average of 24 points a game. But he would also try out for Mizzou's baseball team on a dare, and then became a starting pitcher on Mizzou's 1954 National Championship baseball team. After a year in professional basketball, Stewart returned to Mizzou to earn his master's degree and work as an assistant basketball coach. In 1961, he accepts a job as the head basketball coach for what is now the University of Northern Iowa. He goes 97-42 with 2 conference championships in Iowa before being called back to Mizzou in 1967 to become the head basketball coach. In 32 seasons, our champ earns a 634 and 333 overall record and 8 Big 8 conference championships, 6 Big 8 tournament titles, 16 NCAA tournament appearances, and wins National Coach of the Year honors in 1982 and 1994. Then in 1989, fate threw Norm and Virginia a curveball. On a Saturday, when Virginia was in a Columbia hospital recovering from a procedure that hinted at a possible cancer diagnosis, Norman is in a chartered plane with his 3rd-ranked team on the way to Norman, Oklahoma, to play a nationally broadcast game. He suffers what he and others on the plane thought might be a heart attack, and the plane makes an emergency landing, so Norm can be rushed to a hospital. Rather than a heart attack, the diagnosis is 8 ulcers, internal bleeding, and thanks to a colonoscopy, a nearly 3-inch cancerous growth was found. The next day, he is checked into Columbia Regional Hospital, the same hospital where Virginia is recovering. The recovery was as grueling and tough as it is for any surviving cancer patient. Our champ was learning new lessons in tenacity, and both he and Virginia survive. In 1993, our champ grabbed a hold of a friend's suggestion. He challenged fans to pledge a dollar amount for every 3-point shot made by his team during the season. The concept evolved, and soon the Coaches vs. Cancer program became a nationwide collaboration between the American Cancer Society and the National Association of Basketball Coaches. That collaboration has raised $100 million to fight cancer over the last 25 years.
A gentleman came to me 25 years ago and said, I've got a great idea, but I need somebody that is out in front of the public to help us. And when he told me the idea, it's a no-brainer, because I was just recovering from cancer. My mother had just died from cancer, and it was such a great cause. It's so, it kind of overcomes you a little bit, but then you think what it's done and how it is helping. and there's a great deal of satisfaction of being involved.
Norm Stewart has been inducted into the MU Athletics Hall of Fame, the St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame, the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame, and the National Collegiate Basketball Hall of Fame. And in 2013, another opportunity presented itself.
When they called Norm and I in to the board and said that they were going to name it the Norm and Virginia Stewart Cancer Center, I started crying. And I think it's been amazing the people that have turned out to give that particular cancer center money because of a parent, because of their stay there. So I'm just thrilled that it can be someplace that's as comfortable as anybody can make it.
The impact of both Coaches vs. Cancer and the Virginia and Norman Stewart Cancer Center is hard to calculate now. The number of families who still have their loved ones, the number of lives affected for the better, college degrees earned, marriages, babies, all because Norman and Virginia put their time, their effort, and their money into something very special in Columbia.
Well, I used to do this when I was coaching. When the tensions of your job, and it doesn't have to be coaching, it can be anything else, I always looked for something that would relieve that tension. And I found out that there were people that were having difficulties with their health, and particularly in the area of cancer. And so maybe before a game or maybe after a game, I would go visit them. And I found that comforting to them, and it was very comforting to me. And it made, it might sound unusual, but it was easy for me to do. It still is easy for me to do. And you get great satisfaction yourself. And I try to tell other cancer patients, use that, because it'll help heal you. And so you can also help heal somebody else.
Yes, sometimes well-earned glory after decades of winning isn't the end of the story, or the singular purpose in living a well-lived life. Sometimes a champion finds there is another contest, one that allows him to leave a legacy he never could have imagined. Norman Eugene Stewart has left two lasting legacies, one that revolved around mentoring and teaching young men to be better sons, brothers, husbands, and fathers, not to mention bringing joy to millions of basketball fans. He did it by being tough, charismatic, and with an unrelenting competitive nature that allowed him to become a National Hall of Fame coach in his home state. But he has left another legacy that can't be measured in wins and losses. He and Virginia have left the gift of life through their generosity, leadership, and example. The champ's fellow Missourians love him for all of it, the entire authentic, gritty, and inspirational package. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome into the Boone County Hall of Fame, Norman Eugene Stewart.